All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're taking a deep dive into van life.
Ooh, van life.
But not just the picture-perfect Instagram version. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
We're going beyond the glossy travel blogs, and we're going to really examine what it takes to make van life
Yeah.
a sustainable reality.
Okay.
Especially for families.
Especially for families.
Because we're going to be drawing insights from a whole bunch of different sources today.
Okay, cool.
Not just like articles and blog posts, but also a guide that is specifically focused on van life.
Oh, cool.
For families.
Nice.
And we're going to be weaving in an inspiring story.
Okay.
Of someone from our community.
All right.
The digital divas and gentlemen community who's actually living this lifestyle.
Awesome.
With their family. So we're going to get like a real world perspective.
I love it.
So to help us connect the dots and extract the most valuable takeaways from all this information, we have our expert.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's interesting how this whole trend is tapping into a deeper desire for freedom.
Yeah.
You know, like control over our lives.
Exactly.
It's almost like a counter movement.
Yeah.
To the increasing demands and complexities of modern society.
Totally. Yeah. And what's even more interesting is how people are adapting this lifestyle.
Yeah.
To fit their unique needs and values.
Absolutely.
Today, we're focusing on the story of Jesse.
Okay.
A member of the digital divas and gentlemen community.
Right.
Who's actually living this lifestyle with his family.
Nice.
And he's not just cruising in a tricked-out van.
Oh.
He's converted a whole school bus into an off-grid home.
Now that's thinking outside the box.
Right.
A Schoolie conversion offers a lot of potential for customization and space.
Yeah.
Especially for a family.
For sure.
It's fascinating how people are finding innovative ways to adapt these vehicles to their needs.
I know, it's amazing.
It is.
So before we get swept up in the romance of hitting the open road, let's break down why van life is so appealing.
Right.
Our research highlights freedom, cost savings, sustainable learning, work-life balance, and personal growth as major motivators.
Makes sense.
But what's the deeper story here?
Yeah.
What's driving this shift in values?
Oh, that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about escaping the 9-to-5 grind.
Right.
It's about redefining what a fulfilling life looks like.
Yes.
The desire for freedom, for instance,
Yeah.
might be a reaction to the feeling of being tethered to a desk or a specific location.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming autonomy over your time and experiences.
And the cost savings can be a huge factor.
Oh, for sure.
Especially with rising housing costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it goes beyond just saving money.
Right.
It's about consuming less and adopting a more minimalist lifestyle.
Exactly.
Like really simplifying.
Yeah, and that ties into the sustainability aspect as well.
Yes.
Downsizing your living space and reducing your consumption can have a significant impact on your environmental footprint.
For sure.
It's a way of aligning your lifestyle with your values.
So it's about simplifying your life, prioritizing experiences over possessions,
Right.
and connecting more deeply with nature.
I love that.
Now, if this is starting to resonate with you,
Okay.
the next big question is choosing the right vehicle
Yes.
for your van life adventure.
Absolutely. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Okay.
And there are a ton of options out there.
There are.
We've got the popular van models,
Okay.
the Mercedes Sprinter,
Uh-huh.
Ford Transit,
Yep.
Ram ProMaster.
I've heard of those.
Those are the workhorses of the van life world, known for their spacious interiors and customizability.
They may get pricey, though.
Yeah, they can.
What about folks on a tighter budget?
Right.
Or those who want something a little more unique?
Well, for the classic van life vibe,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with a VW Combi.
Those are cool.
They're smaller, but they have that iconic look and a loyal following in the van life community.
Right.
And then you've got converted minivans.
Oh, yeah.
Which are surprisingly spacious
Okay.
and perfect for solo travelers or couples.
It's almost like choosing a house.
Right.
With wheels.
Exactly.
You've got to consider size, layout, mileage, maintenance costs, and whether you need four-wheel drive to access those off-the-grid spots.
And maybe even more importantly, think about your lifestyle and travel preferences.
Yeah.
Do you envision yourself exploring rugged mountains or cruising along scenic coastlines?
That's a good point.
The type of van you choose should align with the adventures you're seeking.
I like that.
And in Jesse's case, he opted for a Schoolie.
Yeah.
Which obviously opens up a whole different set of possibilities.
I'm curious to hear more about his reasoning behind that choice.
Me too.
But first, let's dive into the fun part.
All right.
Designing your dream van.
This is where you get to unleash your creativity and personalize your space. It's like a tiny house on wheels where every inch matters.
That's a great way to put it.
You can go full DIY
Mm-hmm.
and build out your van yourself.
I could see that being very satisfying.
It can be incredibly rewarding and budget-friendly.
Yeah.
Or, if you prefer a more hands-off approach,
Mm-hmm.
you can hire professionals to bring your vision to life.
Right.
Either way, there are some must-have features to consider.
Like what?
Obviously, a comfortable bed is a priority.
Of course.
But what about a kitchen?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Storage?
Definitely.
Even a bathroom?
That's a good one. How did Jesse prioritize his needs in a Schoolie conversion?
Well, in a Schoolie, you have more square footage to work with compared to a traditional van.
Makes sense.
This means Jesse could dedicate more space to specific areas.
Okay.
Like a designated sleeping area for the kids,
Uh-huh.
a more fully equipped kitchen,
Yeah.
and even a composting toilet.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible how creative people are getting.
Nice.
With their van builds, it's a real testament to human ingenuity
It is.
and the desire to create a comfortable and functional home on wheels.
And it's all about finding solutions
Yeah.
that fit your lifestyle and priorities.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about power.
Oh, right.
Solar panels, batteries, inverters.
Mm-hmm.
Those are essential for off-grid living.
Very important.
It's like building your own little ecosystem on wheels.
Right. It's fascinating how van lifers are embracing sustainable technology
Yes.
to minimize their impact and achieve energy independence.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect example of how this lifestyle can be both adventurous and eco-conscious.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Van life isn't all breathtaking vistas
Right.
and perfectly curated Instagram feeds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole logistical side to consider.
Yes.
Budgeting, staying connected,
Mm-hmm.
and staying safe.
You're absolutely right. And that's where careful planning comes in. Van life can be incredibly cost-effective.
Right.
But you need to be realistic about the expenses involved.
Like, where should people even start?
Well, first, there's the initial investment, the cost of the van itself, plus any conversion expenses.
Uh-huh.
Then you have ongoing costs like gas, food, maintenance, and repairs.
Oh, right.
Don't forget about insurance and registration fees, too.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is.
And what about staying connected?
Yeah.
In today's digital age,
Right.
reliable internet access is crucial,
Absolutely.
especially for those who work remotely or just want to stay in touch with loved ones.
Absolutely. And that's where mobile hotspots and unlimited data plans come in handy.
Okay.
Plus, there are apps like Compendium and iOverlander,
I've heard of those.
which can help you find Wi-Fi hotspots,
Okay.
campgrounds, and other essential resources on the road.
That's helpful.
These apps are like a lifeline for van lifers. They provide a wealth of information
Ooh.
and connect you to a community of like-minded individuals.
And speaking of community, I'm eager to dive into Jesse's story and hear how he's navigating the challenges and rewards of van life with a family.
His experience offers a unique perspective on how to make this lifestyle work, especially with kids in tow.
All right, before we delve into the family dynamics of van life, let's take a quick pause.
Sounds good.
When we come back, we'll hear all about Jesse's incredible Schoolie transformation
Okay.
and how he's creating a thriving and fulfilling life for his family on the road.
Awesome. Can't wait.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're diving deeper into the world of van life, and today we're putting the spotlight on Jesse and his incredible journey of converting a school bus into an off-grid home for his family.
Pretty impressive.
Now, you mentioned that Jesse specifically chose a Schoolie for this adventure.
Yeah.
What are the advantages of going with a school bus over a traditional van,
Right.
especially when you have family to consider?
Well, Schoolies offer a lot more space than a typical van,
Right.
which is a major plus for families.
Makes sense.
You can create separate sleeping areas for kids and adults,
Oh.
have a more spacious living area,
Mm-hmm.
and even dedicate room for a homeschooling setup or a dedicated play area.
Cool.
It's all about maximizing space
Yeah.
and creating a comfortable living environment for everyone.
That makes sense. And it seems like Jesse has taken full advantage of that extra space.
Yeah.
We've seen pictures of his Schoolie.
I know, it's amazing.
And it's amazing he's created a cozy and functional home with all the essentials.
It is.
Beds, a kitchen, a bathroom, and even a little library nook.
Yeah. It's truly inspiring to see how creatively
Yeah.
people are transforming these buses into homes on wheels.
I know, it's amazing.
Jesse's Schoolie is a great example of how you can personalize your space
Yeah.
and make it reflect your family's unique needs and style.
Now let's talk about education.
Okay.
Jesse is homeschooling his children,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big decision for any
It
family,
is.
let alone one living in a schoolie.
Right.
What are some of the challenges and rewards of homeschooling in this unique environment?
You're right. It's not a decision to be taken lightly.
Oh,
But Jesse's story shows that homeschooling can be incredibly successful,
okay.
even in unconventional settings.
Yeah,
One of the biggest challenges, of course, is creating a structured learning environment
right.
within a mobile home.
I could see that.
It requires a lot of organization and flexibility,
Uh-huh.
but the rewards can be immense.
Like, what are some of the unique advantages of homeschooling on the road?
Think about it. The world becomes your classroom.
Wow.
Kids are constantly exposed to new environments, cultures, and experiences.
That's amazing.
They're learning through real-world exploration,
Yeah.
not just from textbooks.
Right.
It's a truly immersive and engaging form of education.
That's incredible. It's like they're getting a masterclass in experiential learning with field trips built into their daily lives.
Exactly.
I bet their geography and history lessons are pretty epic.
Absolutely. And they're not just absorbing information passively.
Right.
They're actively participating in their learning journey. Imagine visiting historical landmarks,
Oh, yeah.
exploring national parks, or even learning a new language from locals in another country.
Wow. That's a far cry from sitting at a desk in a traditional classroom.
It is.
It sounds like Jesse's kids are getting an education that's both enriching and unforgettable.
It really is.
Yeah.
And Jesse is incredibly dedicated to providing a well-rounded education for his children.
Good for him.
He's not just focusing on academics.
Right.
He's also making sure they have opportunities for physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
social interaction, and creative expression.
So it's a holistic approach to learning, which is so important.
Absolutely.
And speaking of social interaction, one of the biggest concerns people have about van life,
Yeah.
especially with kids, is isolation.
Right.
How is Jesse's family addressing that?
It's a valid concern,
It is.
but it's often based on misconceptions.
Oh,
Jesse's family is a great example of how you can create a vibrant social life on the road.
okay.
They're actively seeking out connections wherever they go.
Right.
They join local sports teams,
Oh, cool.
attend community events,
Awesome.
and connect with other nomadic families. They're building relationships across the country and even around the world.
So they're proving that community doesn't have to be tied to a specific location?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about shared interests and connections,
Right.
which can be found anywhere if you're open to it.
And technology plays a big role in staying connected these days.
Oh, sure.
They use video calls to chat with family and friends back home,
Uh-huh.
social media to share their adventures,
Right.
and online communities to find support and inspiration from other van lifers.
Mm-hmm.
They've built this incredible network that transcends geographical boundaries.
It really is heartwarming to hear that.
It
It
is.
shows that van life can actually expand your social horizons
Yeah.
and introduce you to a diverse community of like-minded people.
Now let's shift gears and talk about the practicalities of van life with a family. It's one thing to dream about hitting the open road, but it's another to actually make it work logistically, especially with kids.
You're absolutely right. And this is where careful planning and resourcefulness come into play.
Yeah.
Jesse's Schoolie conversion is a prime example
Right.
of how to create a functional and comfortable living space for a family
Mm-hmm.
in a relatively small area.
What are some key things families need to consider when designing their van or schoolie?
Space optimization is crucial.
Right.
You need to make every inch count.
Yeah.
That means thinking about multifunctional furniture,
Interesting.
clever storage solutions,
Uh-huh.
and efficient use of vertical space.
Makes sense.
It's like a giant game of Tetris, but with your home.
I can imagine, and it must be even more challenging
It is.
when you're designing for a family with different needs and ages.
Definitely. Jesse had to consider things like creating separate sleeping areas for privacy,
Uh-huh.
a dedicated play area for his kids to burn off energy,
Right?
and a space where he could work remotely without distractions.
It's a lot to balance. And what about safety?
Mm-hmm.
That's a major concern for any family,
It is.
but especially one living on the road.
Safety is paramount.
Yeah.
And Jesse takes it very seriously.
Good.
He chose a reliable vehicle with a good safety record, and he's meticulous about maintenance.
Okay.
He's also very careful about choosing overnight parking spots,
Right.
especially in unfamiliar areas.
Right. That's smart.
He uses apps like Campendium and iOverlander to find safe and legal places to park.
Okay.
And he always trusts his instincts. If a place doesn't feel right, he moves on.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It's all about being aware of your surroundings and taking precautions to minimize risks.
Exactly. And it's important to have a plan for emergencies,
Right.
like a well-stocked first aid kit and a communication system in case you need to call for help.
Now, I know our listeners are probably curious about the financial aspect of van life, especially for families.
Yeah.
It's often touted as a more affordable way to live,
Right.
but there's still costs involved.
There are.
How is Jesse managing the financial side of things?
You're right, van life can be incredibly cost-effective if you're mindful about your spending,
Okay.
but you need to be realistic about the expenses.
Yeah.
You have the initial investment in the vehicle and the conversion costs, and then ongoing expenses like gas, food, maintenance, and repairs.
It sounds like a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
How is Jesse making it work financially?
He's embraced a minimalist lifestyle,
Okay.
which has significantly reduced his family's living expenses.
Right.
They cook most of their meals, take advantage of free activities and attractions, and are very conscious of their energy consumption.
So it's about being resourceful and making smart choices.
Exactly. And Jesse has also found creative ways to generate income on the road.
What?
He's a freelance writer and web designer, which allows him to work remotely.
It's amazing how technology is enabling people to work from anywhere these days,
It is.
giving them the freedom to pursue alternative lifestyles like van life.
It really is. And it's a trend that's only going to continue to grow
Yeah.
as more and more people seek flexibility and work-life balance.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about Jesse's dedication to providing a well-rounded education for his kids.
Right.
We've talked about the real-world learning experiences, the social connections, the emphasis on physical activity.
Right.
It all sounds incredible.
It is.
But is there anything else Jesse is doing to enhance their learning journey?
Well, this is where Jesse's story gets even more inspiring.
Oh, wow. What do you mean?
He's not only living the van life dream with his family
Right.
and homeschooling his children, but he's also taken his passion for education a step further.
Okay.
He's created a series of educational books specifically for families living on the road.
Wow. That's incredible.
These books are filled with engaging activities, games, and lessons
Cool.
that cover a wide range of subjects.
Okay.
From STEM and nature studies.
Oh. To geography, history, and even art.
Wow. So he's not just teaching his own children,
Right.
but he's also sharing his knowledge and resources with other families who are embracing this lifestyle.
He's creating a valuable resource for the van life community,
Yeah.
empowering parents to create fun and educational experiences for their kids on the road.
And it's a great example of how van life can foster creativity and entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
It's not just about escaping the rat race.
Right.
It's about finding new ways to contribute your talents and passions to the world.
I couldn't agree more. It's about creating a life
Yeah.
that's meaningful and fulfilling,
Absolutely.
both for yourself and for others.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling incredibly inspired by Jesse's story.
Me too.
He's proving that van life can be more than just a travel adventure.
Right.
It can be a way of life
Right.
that's rich with learning, connection, and personal growth.
It's a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the power of community. All right, before we head into our final thoughts, let's take a quick pause.
Sounds good.
When we come back, we'll reflect on what we've learned from Jesse's experience
Okay.
and explore what it all means for those considering this alternative path.
Awesome.
Welcome back to our deep dive into van life. We've been exploring this alternative lifestyle from all angles,
We have.
from the practical considerations of choosing a vehicle and designing your space, to the inspiring stories of those who are making it work,
Yeah.
particularly families like Jesse's.
It's been fascinating to delve into the challenges and rewards,
Yes.
the myths and realities of van life.
Yeah, and what stood out to me is that it's not just about the travel or the minimalist aesthetic.
Right.
It's about a fundamental shift in values and priorities.
Absolutely. And Jesse's story is a perfect example of that.
It is.
He's shown us that van life can be a catalyst for personal growth,
Yeah.
a platform for creative expression, and a springboard for
Yeah.
connecting with a global community.
For sure. But it's not without its challenges, right?
Of course not. There are logistical hurdles, financial considerations, and safety concerns that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
But what's inspiring is that people like Jesse are finding creative solutions, proving that with careful planning and a bit of ingenuity, you can make this lifestyle work.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, let's shift gears from the how-to to the so what.
Okay.
What does this all mean for you, our listener?
Right.
What's resonating with you after hearing Jesse's story and exploring the ins and outs of van life?
That's the key question.
It is.
It's not about trying to convince everyone to sell their belongings and hit the road.
Yeah.
It's about prompting you to examine your own values, your priorities,
Right.
and your definition of a fulfilling life.
I like that.
Maybe van life is the perfect fit for you, or maybe it's sparked an interest in exploring other alternative lifestyles.
Yeah, maybe it simply encouraged you to simplify your life.
Yeah.
Spend more time in nature. Or prioritize experiences over material possessions.
I love that.
Whatever it is, we hope this deep dive has planted a seed of possibility in your mind.
Exactly. It's about opening yourself up to new ways of living,
Yeah.
working, and connecting with the world.
For sure.
And it's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to happiness.
Right.
What works for Jesse and his family might look completely different for you, and that's okay.
So what are some key takeaways you want our listeners to walk away with?
Okay.
What's the essence of what we've explored today?
First and foremost, remember that knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more you learn about different lifestyles and options, the more empowered you'll be to make informed decisions about your own path.
Don't be afraid to challenge your assumptions about what a normal life looks like.
Right.
The traditional 9 to 5, the white picket fence, the 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Those are just societal constructs, not mandates for happiness.
And perhaps most importantly,
Yes.
embrace the journey.
Oh, I like that.
Life is an adventure, and it's often the unexpected detours that lead us to the most rewarding destinations.
If you're intrigued by van life, we encourage you to take that next step.
Yeah.
Connect with the digital divas and gentlemen community.
For sure.
Research van models and conversion options. And most importantly, listen to your own inner compass.
If Jesse's story has resonated with you, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah.
He's incredibly generous with his knowledge and experience, and he's passionate about helping others explore this lifestyle.
I love that.
Whether you need advice on building out your van tips, on homeschooling on the road, or just want to connect with someone who's living the dream, he's happy to share his insights.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be sharing your own van life story.
Yeah.
Inspiring others to embrace the freedom and possibilities that come with designing a life that truly aligns with their values.
That's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
It is.
We all have the power to create lives that are meaningful and fulfilling. And sometimes that means venturing beyond the familiar and embracing the unknown.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of van life.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it sparked your curiosity, expanded your horizons, and inspired you to create a life that feels authentic and aligned with your dreams.
And remember, the road is calling. Are you ready to answer?
We'll see you next time.